Trademark or LLC? Do I need an LLC if I've got a trademark? Do I need a trademark if I've got an LLC? What's the difference? Are they the same thing? Do they do the same thing? Trademark or LLC? Trademark or LLC? Trademark or LLC? Stick around because I'm about to explain. Welcome back to All Up in Your Business. I'm business and branding attorney Aiden Durham with 180 Law Co. in Colorado, and I have helped hundreds of clients set up successful small businesses. Of course, typically the top two things that come to mind when we're talking about starting a business is forming an entity like an LLC or a corporation and trademarks. Do I have to think about trademarks? And of course, the question comes up of what do these two things mean? Are they the same? Are they different? Do I need to do both? Do I need to do either? So in this episode, I'm going to break down exactly what an LLC is and what a trademark is, how they sometimes play together, how they are two completely different things, but how they're both incredibly important for the success and longevity of your business. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and be sure to hit the little bell so you receive a notification anytime I post a new video. And if you want to learn more about trademarks, check the description for a link to download my free Brandish trademark guide that will teach you all of the ins and outs about trademarks and the things that you need to know to properly protect your business. All right, so let's get into it. LLC versus trademark. What do they mean? How are they similar? And how are they different? Let's start off with some basics. What does LLC mean? Not just what does it stand for. LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. Well, what does Limited Liability Company actually mean? What does that term mean? I'm going to read you the dictionary definition of Limited Liability Company. I'm going to read it directly from my notes so I don't get it wrong. An LLC is an unincorporated company formed under applicable state statute whose members cannot be liable for the acts, debts, or obligations of the company and that may elect to be taxed as a partnership. Let's reel that back. An unincorporated company, meaning not a corporation, formed under state statute. So an LLC is a company formed under state statute whose members can't be liable for the debts, obligations, liabilities of the company. That's what an LLC is. Let's look at the dictionary definition for a trademark. Trademark, a device such as a word pointing distinctly to the origin or ownership of merchandise to which it is applied and legally reserved to the exclusive use of the owner as a maker or seller. A device such as a word pointing distinctly to the origin or ownership of merchandise or services and legally reserved as the owner. That's a trademark. LLC is an entity formed under state statute. Trademark is a device having to do with origin and ownership of a good or a service. So just looking strictly at the two dictionary definitions, these things have nothing in common. So there you go. That's the video, guys. LLC, trademark, they're different. Done. Bye. I'm just kidding. But really, let's start there. They're completely different things. An LLC is an entity formed under state law. A trademark is a device such as a word or a symbol indicating the source of a good or service and distinguishing it from its competitors. I like to think of trademarks and LLCs kind of like insurance. If you either own your home or rent your home, you have some kind of home insurance, something insuring your home or your possessions in your home. If you have a car, you also have auto insurance, insurance that protects the automobile and the people within the car, and to an extent the personal possessions or tangible items within the car as well. If you've ever dealt with home or auto insurance, you know they are two separate policies. Home policy covers your home, auto insurance covers your automobile. Sometimes we get these policies from the same company. Sometimes they interact or overlap with each other to an extent. Let's say your car is parked in your garage and someone breaks into your garage and steals your car or steals some belongings out of your car. Some of that loss might be covered by your home coverage because someone broke into your home and stole your possessions. Some of it might be covered by your auto coverage because someone stole things out of your car. Of course, I'm not an insurance expert, so that's not always how it works, but there are, of course, instances where your home insurance covers something having to do with your car, and your car insurance sometimes covers something having to do with your home. But at their core, they are two completely different things, protecting completely different assets, and you're paying for them separately, and you need both of them. LLCs and trademarks are kind of like that. LLCs protect you as the individual member or owner, and operating a business as an LLC can impact the strength of your trademarks or your trademark ownership. But the LLC itself has nothing to do with the trademark or the trademarks themselves, and vice versa. The trademark or trademark registration protects those trademarks, which are assets of the business. So of course there's overlap, but again, they are two completely separate and distinct things. An LLC is a form of business entity. A trademark is a type of intellectual property. While an LLC, the primary purpose for its members in forming an LLC, the primary purpose is protecting your personal liability, because as we know from the dictionary definition, an LLC is meant to create a situation so the members aren't liable for the debts, obligations, or liabilities of the company. There's nothing in that definition about protecting the name of the business or any other kinds of trademarks having to do with the business. There's nothing in that LLC definition that even describes or talks about trademarks in any way. So while the LLC will help to protect personal liability, it does pretty much nothing when it comes to protecting a business name or a business logo or any of the business's other trademarks. Wait, hold up. So you're telling me that somebody else can use the same name as I do for their LLC? Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, it depends. It helps to have a basic understanding of trademark law and how trademarks work in the US to really understand how trademarks and LLCs kind of play together. So if you want a little extra primer on some of those trademark basics, don't forget to check the description for a link to download my ultimate brandish trademark guide that will give you all of that background that will help you understand exactly how trademarks work in your business. When you register or form an LLC, at best, all you're doing is preventing somebody else from forming an LLC with that exact same name in that same state. It will not prevent people from registering a very similar name for their LLC or registering the exact same name in a different state, or potentially, depending on the state, it may not even prevent someone from registering that same name as a DBA, but without the LLC designation on it. For the most part, in most states, literally all it's doing is preventing someone from registering that exact same name in that state. And that's not even a trademark issue behind it. It's not like the Secretary of State's office has someone in the background comparing LLC documents and saying, oh, this name is too similar to this one. This is going to be trademark infringement. No, the Secretary of State, aside from state trademark registrations, they could care less about your federal trademarks or the trademark of your business name. The reason they are concerned about similar names is because most state statutes require that your LLC have a distinct name, which means it can't be identical to some other one, and because a lot of their systems don't know how to handle two identical LLC registrations. It's improper. It shouldn't exist. An LLC needs to have its own distinct name, but distinctness can be one letter difference or even a comma difference. Sometimes will make this LLC name different from the other one. So it's solely a procedural issue for the most part of why you can't have an LLC that has the identical name in the same state. It has very little to do with trademarks. Trademark rights, however, in the United States arise out of use of the trademark. You don't have any rights in a trademark until you've actually started using it in commerce, because then it is a trademark. Because if you've seen any of my other videos, I don't know if you guys are getting sick of hearing me say this. I'm not. I love it. But a trademark isn't a trademark until it's a trademark. Your business name or your LLC name isn't a trademark until you start using it as a trademark, which means you are using it to distinguish and identify the source of your goods or services. And simply forming an LLC, simply filing paperwork to form an LLC, does not, in 99% of instances, that by itself does not constitute use of a trademark, because you're just registering an LLC. You're not selling your goods or services. You're not using the LLC name as a trademark yet. Now you can kind of secure some rights in a trademark before you've started using it. And you can do this by applying with the USPTO on a 1B intent to use basis. If you want to register your trademark, you can apply before you started using it in commerce, but it won't be registered until you've started using it, because it's not a trademark until you've started using it. So it is true that you really don't have any protection over a trademark until it becomes a trademark, but with a little caveat that you can get some preliminary protection, I guess, by filing on a 1B intent to use basis. But aside from that, ownership and rights in a trademark don't come up until it's being used as a trademark, which means it's being affixed to your products or product packaging or product displays, or if it's used on marketing or advertising materials for services, something like that, until the consuming public experiences your trademark out in the wild in a situation where they can then purchase your goods and services. That's when it becomes a trademark. So when it comes to, do I need one or the other? Should I do both? Which one should I do first? Really, both for most of us are optional. Of course, I'm a lawyer. I encourage people to operate businesses as an LLC or a corporation to protect their personal liability. And of course, I encourage people to take care of their precious trademarks by registering them with the USPTO. But neither of these things are required to start a business or operate a business. There are some instances where it might be required if you are doing an Amazon. If you're selling on Amazon, Amazon requires for brand registry that you have a trademark registration or at least a pending application. So in instances like that, a trademark might be required, but legally speaking, there's no requirement for either. But of course, they are good things to do. Operate a business as an LLC and registering any of your business's trademarks with the USPTO. If you've decided you want to do both, which one do you do first? Well, again, we've got to think of what are these things that we're dealing with. This trademark, what is it a trademark of? It's a trademark of the business, in theory, right? If we are going to form this LLC to operate our business, and that business is going to be using this trademark, whether it's the business name, a product name, a service name, a logo, or some other design, it's going to be the business that's using that, right? So shouldn't the business exist before we file an application for this trademark? Yes, it should. It would be improper for one to file a trademark application under their own name, my individual name as the owner or user of the trademark, if it's really my business, my LLC, that's using it. That wouldn't be correct as far as the trademark application and registration process goes. So if it's one or the other, then of course, we need to decide what's more important here, protecting my personal liability, which, the LLC will help to do, or is it more important that I really secure this brand, this business name, this logo? But if it's both, then 99% of the time, we want to form the company first, because it's the company that should be the owner, applicant, user of the trademark. Bottom line here, folks, is that LLCs and trademarks are very, very different things. They're both important for a business and for operating a successful business. Neither are completely necessary though, and they both help to protect you and your business in one way or the other, and they play together to an extent in that sense. But at their core, at the heart of themselves, an LLC is a state-formed entity, whereas a trademark is a device that identifies and distinguishes the source of a good or service. If you are ready to do either of those things, form an LLC, register a trademark, check the description because I am going to load you guys up with some great resources. Of course, when it comes to trademarks, I've got you covered with my all-inclusive trademark registration package where I will handle every step of the trademark registration process from beginning to end. Or if you're a little bit more of a DIYer, I've got Brandish, which is my online course that teaches you step by step how to prepare for, complete, and submit a trademark application to the USPTO all by yourself without an attorney. I'm also going to link to a couple of great resources for forming an LLC, learning more about how you go about doing that, getting all the documents set up for your LLC, and a few other things that you might want to know. If you learned something from this video, go ahead and give me a little thumbs up. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you don't miss any future episodes of All Up in Your Business. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Aiden Durham, and I'll see you next time.